Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Last Man Standing, episode 17.
17, sir.
I am Nick.
I am Justin.
And we are drinking Monster Energy, the green kind.
The green kind.
Green is the only kind that matters.
Yeah, basically the good kind of monster. Every other monster is just not.
Tastes like
apparently
ass.
not good. Tastes like hot, sick ass and a red carcass.
Ass. Oh. Anyways,
So.
yeah, this is an awesome way to start. I'm in a no-holds-barred kind of mood, but apparently we have to do wrestling.
Yeah,
because that's what Justin wants.
Well, we kind of had it. We kind of had it in our heads that this was going to be wrestling too.
Yeah,
so
kind of.
Because we got stuff to talk about with wrestling, which is nice. Because sometimes we'll go weeks at a time where there's just nothing to talk about.
Yeah,
and then we kind of got to force it.
I guess so.
So,
but I mean, forcing it sometimes it's fun.
Most of the time, it's fun. Exactly. So yes, we are sitting here. We literally both have our right hands around our Monster Energy drinks, and no, that's not a euphemism.
You want to call it?
Yeah, that's what you want to call it. At least we're not touching each other's. So on this episode of Last Fan Standing, we're going to talk about the results from Night of Champions. I know it was 6 days ago, but the fallout from it from Raw, which was 5 days ago, like it's important. It's where WWE storylines are continuing to head. Yes. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And towards the end of the show, we're going to have a fun little game for you. We're going to have a little word association.
Word association.
So basically,
you know me with words.
Exactly.
So this should be interesting.
Oh, it's going to be fun. So basically what it is I have a list of names, and maybe we can even pull some names sort of out of our heads and keep going that way. But a list of names, and we're just going to, one of us says the name, and the other person just kind of says the first thing that comes to mind about that performer or what they're doing or anything like that.
Sounds good.
It's a classic wrestling game. Y'all know how it's played.
Yay!
But we're going to start the show. Well, first of all, we're going to start the show by reminding you that Twin City Wrestling is having their first ever televised event, recorded for television for Eastlink TV. That is going to be in Liverpool, Nova Scotia. It's a very, very important show. If you're in Nova Scotia, find a way to get out to it. Liverpool Fire Hall. You can get tickets on Eventbrite, or you can buy them at the door, I think. It's gonna be huge. It's a big building. It's gonna be a very important show for Twin City Wrestling. So you gotta get your butts to the Twin City Wrestling show on Saturday the 28th.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Nick's gonna be making his televised debut as Sound Dude.
Possibly not. I don't know where I'll be set up.
Yeah, it's true. You may
behind the curtain. I don't know.
Could very well happen.
Who knows?
I want to see your pretty face on television.
My pretty face deserves to be on television.
You deserve to be on television every minute of every day. You deserve your own station. Just 24 hours. You just sitting around.
Of Nick.
You just sitting around playing fucking Enter the Matrix.
There you go.
But it's on TV, and every so often you just look at the camera and go, "So this is my life."
This is my life. Which reminds me, I haven't put one out this week.
Oh no, you haven't.
I've
That's
been
right.
busy.
Yeah, you were fucking busy.
iPhone launch.
Ugh, fucking iPhones. So yes, of course, Twin City Wrestling. Get out to see that show on September the 28th. I might even toss the link to the Eventbrite tickets in the description of the video. Why not? And the other thing that we wanted to start with the show before we got to the results and fallout from Night of Champions, we actually wanted to talk a little TNA.
Wow.
Very, very briefly, but usually we only like to talk TNA when they're doing something stupid, right?
Well, this was pretty stupid, what you made me watch.
This is pretty
I
fucking
watched
stupid.
it, and then I text you back immediately afterwards, just like, what the shit did I just watch?
Yeah, that is pretty much verbatim. That's pretty much exactly what you said. What the hell did I just watch?
Yeah.
Of course, what we're referring to is the much hyped and led up to AJ Styles pipe bomb shoot promo that he was supposed to do, and Dixie Carter's heel turn. Oh my fuck, was this ever terrible? Okay, so let's kind of set the stage here for you. Neither one of us watches TNA on the reg. Like we're not regular viewers of TNA.
I never watch it
because every time I try to watch it, I find something new that they're doing stupid and terrible, and it just completely takes me out of the show.
Right.
Because they have such a fucking long history of being terrible. that I'm just like, you know what? I can't fucking do this. I wish I could subject myself to it, but I can't. So I tune in because everybody's going ape shit about like, oh, AJ Styles is going to do a CM Punk style. It's going to be better than Punk's shoot promo on John Cena, and Dixie Carter's. They're going to have a confrontation. I was like, okay. I don't think it's the best idea to put Dixie Carter in front of the camera.
No.
Because she does a horrible job at things behind the camera. So what is the potential benefit of putting her in front of the camera? I'm going to toss the link to this confrontation in the description of this video. Feel free at this point to pause the podcast, go watch that video, even though it's on TNA's official YouTube account, and even though it is monetized. So you're going to be giving them like a couple of pennies that might keep them going for another week until they have to release more superstars because they're hemorrhaging fucking money. So it might keep them going a little longer, but you know what? It's fucking worth it to see one of the least adequate shoot promo turned into heel turn that I've ever seen done in professional wrestling.
It was bad.
So pause the podcast right now and go listen to it.
Right now.
Okay, so hopefully you've gone and watched that, and hopefully your head didn't explode. So now we can kind of talk about it. So AJ Styles comes out. AJ Styles now kind of looking like a hobo, but dude has got the most emo fucking haircut I've ever seen a non-emo professional wrestling character have.
It's
like,
kind of true.
He's got like a 12-year-old boy's haircut that's sad all the time that his internet girlfriend doesn't talk to him as much as he wants to and just spends his days listening to Hawthorne Heights. Like, he's got it's a real fucking emo haircut. Like, it's not good.
Okay.
Yeah, see, I fucking went there. And he comes out and he's basically like, I built TNA, which, to be perfectly honest, AJ Styles built fucking TNA. Like, AJ Styles was TNA's big name. Like, he was the guy that they had, that it was like, oh man, fucking, if WWE could just have this guy, like, in his prime.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't really say that, because AJ's still in his prime, but he is, you know, he's been made to look like such a fucking fool in TNA for the longest time, with fucking pregnancy angles and is AJ Styles the father and all this stupid bullshit that they've had him do. It's like WCW with fucking Goldberg. They just put him in angles that make him look stupid. And it's killed the majority of AJ Styles' marketability outside of TNA.
Right.
Like, he couldn't leave TNA and go to WWE tomorrow and have everybody be like, oh my God, it's AJ Styles. AJ Styles built TNA.
Yeah.
Like, this is a huge get. But if he went today, it would be like, oh, look, there's that dude that, like, they did, like, 14 pregnancy angles with him. Right? Like, it's killed his fucking marketability. As far as I can see, anyway. Now, maybe people can feel free to argue that, but I feel like it's killed his...
he's a good wrestler.
Oh, he is, absolutely.
To say that if he goes to WWE and they'll just look at the angles that he did, I mean, that's not really his fault. It's TNA.
Oh no! I
doing that shit to him.
Oh yeah, no, I don't want to make it sound like I'm blaming AJ Styles, because it sure as fuck is not AJ Styles' fault that he's been put in fucking terrible, shitty fucking angles, just like this one. So he comes out and he's basically just like, Dixie Carter's a fucking fool and she's not doing anything good for this company, and I built this company, and just basically just kind of going off on Dixie Carter, worked shoot promo style. And to be perfectly honest, if they would have just ended it there, I'd have been okay with that. Like, what AJ did, the things that AJ said, was okay by me. Like, it seemed like it was doing all right. It was doing all right. It wasn't the best shoot promo I've ever heard, but it certainly wasn't the worst. And then fucking Dixie comes out. Dixie fucking Carter bought a wrestling company with her daddy's money, and here she comes out to her ring. It's very fucking transparent. Like, it's just like she starts in with her conversations, and she's all mopey. And she's just like, AJ, I'm so sorry, and I just don't know. You know, I've tried to do good, and I just don't know. And then she does.
She was playing the Stephanie McMahon angle.
She was, and she then starts her heel turn, but it's just a bitch turn. Like it's not. It wasn't. She just turned into a bitch, not a heel. Like she was just like, I'm sorry that you are not good, AJ Styles, and you are not good. Like, just like talking about like AJ Styles being subpar and AJ not doing this and AJ not doing that.
Yeah.
And if it would have had heat to it, maybe it would have been okay. But this turn had zero fucking heat.
Zero.
The crowd was dead quiet.
Yep.
The crowd was even quiet during AJ's part of it. And like
it was true.
A couple times AJ had to be like, AJ would say something and then he would repeat it louder, which is the wrestling cue for fuck's sakes audience, give me a reaction, please.
Yeah.
And he had to do that a couple of times, which is really fucking sad for AJ Styles, who is a good promo in wrestling. But Dixie's part of it, there's no fucking heat to it whatsoever. It fell flat on its face. It died a long and painful death. It's like Ultimate Warrior's debut in WCW. Died a slow and painful death in front of, well, for WCW at least it was tens of thousands of people.
That it did.
TNA was like 400 or 500 that they put in that soundstage that they called a building. So it just died a fucking slow and painful death. And was fucking terrible.
It was more than terrible. And I even said, this is the reason why I don't watch TNA.
Right.
I cannot stand it. It's just, I don't even care if that was scripted. It was still horrible.
Right.
Like, no.
Yeah, no, it was fuck. I can't overstate it how fucking bad that was. And it just... And this ends up being the fucking thesis statement every time we talk about TNA. It's just like
horrible.
Holy crap! Look how bad this is.
Yep.
Like they don't have the production values of WWE. They don't have the creative of WWE. And we can bitch all we want about WWE's creative, but most of the time, at least it makes sense. Kind of makes sense. It can be argued that it makes sense. I don't see anybody being able to argue why this thing that they're doing right now, this Dixie Carter supposed heel turn, is going to draw one dime of money, is going to make a lick of difference in the ratings, or is going to cause more people to want to go to live shows. I don't see any reason why this works, why this makes sense. Makes no fucking sense to me. Anyways, that's all the time we'll dedicate to TNA.
That was a lot of time, and I don't think they deserved it.
Probably not. It was like 5 minutes. This is in fact probably the clip that I'll end up putting on my YouTube page. Just bitching about TNA.
Nice.
Get all the TNA marks pissed off at me before they get pissed off at us combined. Because that's the way the internet works. All right, sir. Let's go on to the results from Night of Champions.
Okay.
We did our predictions. Our predictions actually didn't go very well. To be
they never do.
Honest. They really never do. Like we got the U.S. title match right. We got the Divas title match right.
Of course.
And I got the tag team turmoil match right, and we got the tag title match right.
Yeah.
Other than that, we got everything else wrong. Fuck's sakes. Although technically we got the world heavyweight one right we had the same dude retaining the title. But in any case,
technically,
let's go into it. The pre-show from Night of Champions, the primetime players win tag team turmoil. Because we thought the Usos were the ones that deserved it, but yes. I was kind of like, I wouldn't be surprised to see the primetime players win.
See, I missed this match because I just got home from work.
Oh, that's right, you were working that night.
Yeah. I didn't get to see it.
Okay.
So fill me in.
Basically, I sent you a text and I was like, remember the two teams that I told you was going to start?
Yeah.
The two joke teams? 3MB and fucking Tons of Funk.
Did Ginger come out?
Yeah. No, it was Heath and McIntyre were the two of the three that was in the match.
Oh, really?
But Ginger was there. He was on the outside.
Of course.
So Tons of Funk very quickly eliminate 3MB, those guys, those dudes.
Really?
Yeah. So
it wasn't the other way around.
See, that's what we thought. We figured like if those two teams start, 3MB is going to eliminate Tons of Funk because they want to bury Tons of Funk.
Yeah.
But no, they bury. But you can't bury a team that's already on the bottom. Ouch. So they eliminate 3MB. I think the Real Americans were the next team out.
Okay.
Real Americans eliminated them. Next team out was the Usos. Real Americans eliminated them. And then it was down to the Real Americans and the Primetime Players. And as soon as the Usos went out, I was like, okay, so it's gonna be the Primetime Players. And of course it was the Primetime Players. I'm pretty sure Darren Young got the fall, which is no surprise to anybody, of course. Yeah. We talked about that last week.
Yep.
So the Primetime Players win Tag Team Turmoil. They go on to wrestle the Shield for the tag titles later on in the night, and as we predicted, the Shield retained the titles.
Got their ass kicked by the Shield.
Which is good. I mean, I don't think you can take the tag titles off of the Shield right now.
No, you can't.
I don't think it's a good time to do it.
Give them to 3MB.
Well, certainly not give them to fucking 3MB. Like we said, there were two in a match, a tag team turmoil match that had 5 teams. Yeah. 2 of them were joke teams. And it's just like, really? Like, is this the way we're going now? All right, well, fair enough. So there were only 3 legitimate teams in there, and so they gave it to Primetime Players, but happily the Shield retained the titles.
We just talked about 2 matches there in one.
I know. See, we're zooming right along.
Hey.
At the beginning of the night, Triple H came out and was like, Night of Champions is going to be one of the greatest shows in WWE history. That's my Trips impression.
That was pretty good.
That was bad. So he comes out and he says, oh yeah, this is going to be a great show and all that stuff. Curtis Axel and Paul Heyman come out.
Yeah.
And Paul Heyman is like begging him to reconsider the match later on in the night with CM Punk. And then Curtis Axel, for no reason, just starts jaw-jacking Triple H. For no reason.
Really?
Just starts bitching at him. It's like, I know why you're doing this. You're doing this because you're old. You're old and you're busted and I'm the new hotness. And I'm Men in Black. Like,
he's so not.
And it was just like, all right, why is he doing like this? This is one of the things about WWE creative that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's all just a bunch of noise.
Yeah.
Towards an end that like, okay, whatever. So he's like jaw-jacking Triple H, and Triple H is like, well, fuck you, asshole. You're gonna have to defend your Intercontinental title. So Curtis Axel did double duty. So Curtis Axel ended up having to defend the Intercontinental title against Kofi Kingston.
Right.
And as soon as it was shown that Kofi Kingston was the opponent, I was like, holy shit. The poster for Night of Champions has Kofi Kingston holding the Intercontinental title. I was like, they're going to take the title off Axel. Holy shit. Because I'm just like, I don't think you do that yet. I think it kind of cuts his nuts off if you take the title off of him. But luckily, Curtis Axel ends up retaining the Intercontinental title in that impromptu match. Kofi Kingston, again, looked good. It was a good match. It wasn't the greatest thing I've ever seen, but it was a good match. So Axel retains the title.
Yes.
AJ Lee up next, defending the Divas Championship. Of course, this was a fatal 4-way match.
Of course, this was a washroom break match.
Actually, you know what? It ended up being better than I thought it was going to be. I did get up to take a pee when they were doing their intros. And then I was like, well, shit, now I guess I got to watch the match because now I got nothing else to do. But I had to pee really bad. So we went and I did that, and it was honestly a better match than I thought it was going to be. The Cameron or Naomi or whoever the hell was in the match, I think it was Naomi. Yeah, it was Naomi because remember I was like the only good wrestler in this match is Naomi last week. Freudian slip. Naomi, of course, was useless except for her jumpy fat ass move. But honestly, guys, come on, dat ass. So she was useless aside from that. Brie Bella looked fucking amazing.
Really?
She wore the same thing for that show that she wore on Raw. That little like baby blue number. Holy fuck, did she ever look good. I don't know. As soon as I saw her, I was just like, all right, now I've got something to do in this match. Whack it. No, I didn't do it. Only a little. So she looked great, and her performance in the match was fine. Nick's just looking at me with this accusatory look, like you jerked off during a wrestling match, you jackass. I'm like, only a little bit. Natalia looked really good in the match again. She performed very well, including the double sharpshooter, which for a second I thought looked dumb as shit. Mm-hmm. But then when it was locked on, I was like, holy cow, that actually is kind of interesting. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then, of course, AJ did her AJ thing, sold really well, and just competed really well, ended up winning the match. So AJ Lee retaining the Divas title, like we said she would, because it makes sense, because there's no clear-cut number one contender.
It's true.
At the time. Now, there is. Natalia is clearly the number one contender for the Divas title now.
Yeah.
Because of the whole thing that they did on Raw with them going back and forth on commentary and like Natalia slapping the headset off of AJ's head and all this stuff. She was put into that position just by doing that. And it was so fucking simple. Like, it's literally like 5 minutes. And like, oh, look, she's the number one contender. So now it makes sense. Now there's a clear-cut number one contender. So now there's the risk that maybe AJ might lose the title. Because now there's a clear-cut number one contender.
Kind of.
So kudos, WWE. You kind of did something right a little bit, maybe.
Kind of maybe.
Kind of maybe.
Only a little.
Exactly. World Heavyweight Championship match. Alberto Del Rio defending against Rob Van Dam. Once again, the World Heavyweight title defended in the middle of a card.
Why?
Because WWE wants to constantly piss on the NWA. Because that's the old NWA world title. Piss on the NWA, piss on WCW. Your title's only good enough to be defended in the middle of the card. Mm. Between the Divas title and a match between The Miz and Fandango. That's how good your title is. Like, Jesus Christ. Decent match. I'm not a fan of Alberto Del Rio. I'm not a fan of Rob Van Dam on this level. ADR ends up retaining the World Heavyweight title because he gets himself disqualified. Yeah. So RVD wins the match, but Del Rio retains the title. Not a fan of disqualifications. Not a fan of disqualifications in title matches.
Are you not?
I don't like it.
Why?
Because if you're on pay-per-view, we want to see a clean winner. Like, we've paid to see a clean winner.
Well, it's true.
So, it would just be kind of nice. Holy cow, we got somebody in our chat stream.
We do.
Hey, person that's in our chat stream, would you mind identifying yourself?
It's a random streamer.
It is. Ustream 557512. I'm going to assume it's probably Cody Nodding.
I can't tell who it is because I can't see the thingy.
It's either Cody Nodding or Rodney Broom.
It's a guest.
Or maybe Doug. It's possible.
It is possible.
But yeah, so again, let's sort of go back to this. I don't like disqualifications in title matches on fucking pay-per-views.
I like them if the disqualification is good.
Okay.
Like, if it has some kind of, if the beatdown is good.
Right.
That justifies the disqualification.
Okay. Did you feel that way about this one?
No.
Okay. Awesome. No, I kind of felt the same way, because if you didn't watch the show, what happened was Del Rio put RVD in the cross arm breaker.
Yeah.
And RVD got to the ropes, and Del Rio just wouldn't release it. So it wasn't even a beatdown. It was just like, I'm going to get myself intentionally disqualified.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all that it was. So it was just like, okay, well then, okay.
If he brought in a chair
Mm-hmm.
and broke his neck
Right.
and got disqualified that way,
Yeah.
then, I would feel
a little bit better
a little
about
bit
it, right?
better about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fair enough.
But just to get disqualified because you didn't let go on the count of 5
Right.
is just bullshit.
It feels kind of cheap. Apparently, the person that's in our chat stream is a Smart Mark. So I'm assuming somebody from Smart Mark Alley. So I'm assuming it's Cody Nodding. Because he seems to be the only one that comes to listen to our podcast live.
There you go.
So, hi, Cody. Oh, you couldn't see me. There we go. Hi, Cody. Wrong arm. Yeah, so ADR retains the title. Big fucking deal. Rob Van Dam ends up wrestling Damian Sandow on Raw the next night for some reason.
Doesn't make sense.
No, it really doesn't. So I don't know what in the world's happening with the heavyweight title picture right now. The only thing I can think of is Sheamus is going to be back soon.
And they're going to give it to him.
Well, they're gonna put him right in the fucking thick of things for the title.
Oh god, yeah.
So yeah, everybody get ready for Dat ADR versus Sheamus feud.
Hooray!
That's got to be at least the third time we've seen that. Hooray!
Yay wrestling!
Yay wrestling! All right, Nick moved the thing away, so
I moved the thing apparently, so Justin has to move it back.
I didn't know what we were talking about.
You lie.
Exactly.
You're the one who made the notes. How could you not know what we're talking about?
It's a great question. Miz defeats Fandango. We don't really have to spend much time on this match.
No.
It was an impromptu match that wasn't on the schedule. I'm assuming just as an excuse to give both of these guys a pay-per-view paycheck.
Yeah, because Fandango's music hit, and I'm just like,
what?
I don't remember reading this on the card.
Fandango comes out and he's just like, Triple H has decided that I am now the number one contender for the WWE Championship because that is good for business. But, if they would have had the balls to do that, what a reaction it would have gotten. People would have been mad pissed. Fandango, WWE Champion 2014. I'm calling it right now. No, I'm not. Let's go to... It's okay, sir. I just got a terrible ice look sent at me. Let's skip the next one. Let's save that more towards the end. We're going with Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler for the U.S. title.
Great match.
Very good match. Anytime you put fucking Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler together, awesome. Just great. Love it. So Dean Ambrose ends up, of course, retaining the U.S. title. And people are like, again, we said that was going to happen, but then everybody on the internet was like, what are they doing with Dolph? They're burying Dolph. I'm like, think about what you're saying. Like, what would have been the point of Dolph Ziggler having the U.S. title? He was just the world heavyweight champion.
Makes no sense at all.
What would be the fuck about that? That would have been like, okay, let's look at it this way. Ultimate Warrior, I love referencing the Warrior. Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan have their match at WrestleMania 6 in Toronto.
That's a long time ago.
I know. Ultimate Warrior was the Intercontinental Champion. Hulk Hogan was the WWF Champion.
Sure.
Ultimate Warrior wins the match and has both belts. I think they have him drop the Intercontinental title, maybe, and then there was a tournament or something or whatever. But okay, he's WWF champion. Do you ever see Ultimate Warrior again going after the Intercontinental title?
Why would he?
No, why would he? What's the point? He's been shown to be a world champion. He's been put on the level of being given a world championship. So what is the point of him then winning the U.S. title? It means nothing. It pads a resume. That's it.
Right.
Like, if Dolph Ziggler then went into, a tag team and went after the tag team titles, that I can understand a little bit more because at least it's something. It's not a singles. It's not the context of singles wrestling. It's tag team wrestling. It's a different beast. So that I'd be okay with, but like him going after minor singles titles doesn't do anything for him.
No.
It really doesn't. It'd be like fucking Shawn Michaels coming back and being like, I'm going to be the European champion again, and it's going to be awesome. Well, why the fuck would you want to do that? That makes no sense whatsoever. So
maybe not to you.
Exactly. Well, true enough. Then people are just like, but I want to see Dolph Ziggler win every match because people can't look good if they lose. Like,
That's not right at all.
I know. I hate wrestling fans.
I mean, you can look good and lose.
Absolutely.
Look at me. I look good all the time, and I lose.
All the time.
All the time. That's not true. I win pretty much.
All the time.
Well,
Nick is a winner in life.
I am a winner.
Winner in life with the ladies, and yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's the only way to put it, and yeah.
And yeah. So go to basically what was the co-main event of the night, which was Paul Heyman and Curtis Axel, 2-on-1 handicap match against CM Punk. Yeah.
Ping.
Bing. That's so terrible. So Paul Heyman, Curtis Axel versus CM Punk. Punk knocks off Axel.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, it's Heyman. It's Heyman and Punk, and Punk beats Heyman up a little bit.
Here's the thing that I don't like about the Paul Heyman beat up.
Shoot on it, sir.
It's almost like Paul Heyman had like padding or something on, because every time CM Punk hit him with the kendo stick in the chest, Paul Heyman was just like, ow, ow.
I think he's just that, sir.
Ow.
Yeah, it's true. We'll just
not like he was in pain at all.
No, exactly. We'll just pause here for 1 second. Cody Nodding on the chat stream asked, "How long have you guys been on the air, and what have I missed?" We started up maybe 1:35, so we've been on the air about a half an hour now. We started, of course, we pimped the Twin City Wrestling show. We talked about the Dixie Carter quote unquote heel turn on TNA on Thursday, and then we just basically have been talking about Night of Champions. So that's what you've missed so far, Cody. If you want to, feel free to hit us with your thoughts from the early part of the Night of Champions card up until now, as well as the Dixie Carter heel turn. Please feel free to let us know. I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir. Fire away.
That's all I got.
That's all you got. You emptied the clip.
Yep.
Fair enough. And you know what? I 100% agree with you. That part of the match felt so weird because, think about it. CM Punk hits Curtis Axel with a kendo stick.
Yeah.
And Axel sells it like a motherfucker. Like, oh my God, this is the most pain I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
Heyman is handcuffed with his arms behind his back. Totally exposed. Punk fucking leans into these kendo stick shots, and Heyman's just like, ow! Oh my God! This hurts me so much! Oh my Jehovah! Ow! Numa! Like, he's selling it all verbally, but he's not selling it physically at all. He's not even moving.
Yeah.
Not selling it physically at all.
Not at all.
And I fucking love me some Paul Heyman. My dream in life is to be a Paul Heyman guy. Like, that's my fucking dream in life. But, Paul, you dropped the ball on this one, sir. It was not good. It was not good selling. I'm sorry. I love you, Paul, but you were full of shit on this one, unfortunately.
Yup.
CM Punk looks to have this match in the bag. And then what happens?
Out of the corner of the television screen.
Feed me more things to do on television. Ryback shows up, puts CM Punk through a table.
Yep.
And is just like, okay, all right.
This could go somewhere.
This could go somewhere. The more it stewed with me, I was like, I'm kind of feeling that.
But Ryback put Punk through a table by kind of like, he put him through a table and he also put himself through the table.
I thought when it
what
first happened, because he picks up Punk and like spears him through a table that's set up in the corner.
Yeah.
But it almost looked like he kind of DDT'd himself.
Yeah.
It kind of looked like he jacked his forehead, and then I was like, "Oh,
they're not moving. What is going on?
Why is Ryback not moving?"
Yeah.
Like, did Ryback literally knock himself out? Because that would be some funny ass shit.
It would.
Because it's just like, all right, Ryback has literally killed his own career. Because like that is the easiest way to kill your career, is by knocking yourself out when you're about to start something interesting creatively.
Oh God, yeah.
So he puts Punk through the table, pulls Punk over, puts Heyman on top of Punk. So the record reflects that Paul Heyman defeated CM Punk. Perfect. Just awesome. Like, and people bitched and pissed and moaned about it, like, oh, it should have been Brock Lesnar. It's like, but Punk and Lesnar have already had their feud.
Yeah.
And fucking Lesnar sucks, but Lesnar won. Like, Lesnar won their match, and that kind of blew their feud off. The feud is Punk and Heyman, not Punk and Lesnar.
Yeah.
The feud is Punk. Punk and Lesnar can come later. Like, Punk's feud is with Heyman.
Mm.
So the fact that Heyman brings on Ryback makes fucking sense. And it gives Ryback something a little bit better to do than the fucking bully angle. Although the bully angle has kind of been integrated with it. Like,
right.
Which is, we'll talk about when we talk about what happened on Raw. Let's take a pause now to talk about what Cody Nodding just said. So Cody Nodding said, I'll shoot on the Dixie Carter angle. Yeah, testify, motherfucker. Although I think TNA is being cheap and trying to channel the CM Punk pipe bomb, I do agree with the things he said. TNA lost it with me when they got rid of guys like Petey Williams, Sanjay Dutt, Matt Bentley, Amazing Red. Those are the guys I enjoyed seeing. They had a WCW cruiserweight type thing going on in TNA, and I loved it. Those guys were outclassing the upper card, just like in the WCW days. So basically what he's talking about with TNA is like when TNA had their X division, like really, really humming.
Right.
And they were having great fucking matches. And 100% agree. I loved the X division. The X division was one of the few reasons I wanted to actually watch TNA back in the day, because I was like, this is the best in ring between them, TNA, and at times even Ring of Honor. So like they had great stuff going with that angle. And then they just kind of killed it all again when they got rid of guys like that and put the X Division title on Rob Van Dam. And I was just like, okay, RVD can still have good matches.
Yeah.
But is anybody really paying attention to this now? Or like, is the X Division, you just kind of pushed the X Division to the side? The same way they did with their tag titles. Their tag division used to be really huge and really hot and humming. Their knockouts division, their women's division used to be the same thing. It used to clobber WWE's divas. Clobbered it. It wasn't even competitive.
Yeah.
But now it's just the same old shit, right? Cody adds they shit on their talent. They shit on their talented guys by bringing in WCW and WWE wash-ups. That's why TNA will never succeed. It's hard to argue it. Their homegrown TNA talent is now very, very slim. You're looking at AJ Styles and what?
That sounds like a certain wrestling promotion.
It's true. Does that remind anybody of a certain maritime wrestling promotion owned by a certain Muck Charton?
Muck Charton.
Just rearrange a little bit. Cody adds, have you guys heard about TNA's recent troubles? If you're talking about financially, a little bit, but if you want to drop some science on us, fire away.